Your beat might sound amazing, but if your file naming, formatting, or metadata are off, your track will never make it to TV. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to make sure your music is truly sync ready. The first thing we want to start with is file naming conventions. Now, this may change depending on what publisher you're working with. File naming conventions will vary because publishers just like things organized a certain way. However, if you haven't got to the point where you are pitching to publishers or actively working with a publisher and you're just kind of starting the pitch process, then what you don't want to do is name your track Beat 107 today's date version 5 final. Like, don't name your beats that way. It has to be something that I feel should hint towards what the track actually sounds like. What emotion does this track bring out? Is it, comedic? Is it tension? Is it dramatic? Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it action? Like whatever emotion you feel when you hear that track based on how you produce and the tempo and things like that, that name should kind of hint to that. Now, of course, if you're working on a full song, that full song has lyrics, obviously it's going to be named whatever the main theme of that song or whatever the hook of that song is, which hopefully you're writing lyrics that that are sync ready as well. So you're writing things about winning, being on top, partying, have a good time, maybe an occasional heartbreak song, feel good, all of these emotions basically. So you want to make sure you have like a legit title, not like that title that you're in the working process in your DAW and you're just naming it whatever because you can't think of a name. And I honestly, we have ChatGPT. Have ChatGPT give you like 10 names to pick from. Tell ChatGPT, hey, I have this track. To me, it feels dramatic, intense. It's a hip hop track. Give me some names that will kind of hint to that emotion and make it no longer than 3 words. Boom, you're done. You don't even have to think about it. So shout out to technology. All right, so that's the first thing. Now, if you're working with a publisher, they will lay out exactly how they want things titled. Just follow instructions. It'll make your life 1,000 times easier. All right. Now let's talk about alt mixes. So that is your mixes, like your instrumental, if you have a full song, underscore, which is basically more of a minimal mix. So it may not have like your main melody or may not have a couple main sounds that really stand out, and it's more of an underscore. A lot of times you'll hear those used in different scenes where they just don't want a whole lot going on musically, but they want the emotion to be there, just not too overpowering. So those underscore mixes come in handy for that. Or you may have a drum only mix, and I'll show you an example of kind of how to organize this inside of my disco shortly here. And then the third thing is metadata tagging. So like, what is metadata? So that's like what describes your song. So let's go into disco here. This is what I use to, basically pitch music and organize it and present it in a way that does not stress publishers out. It's super easy. It's streaming. So here we have an example of a song that's already been pitched. It's been organized. Alt mixes have been bounced out and things like that. I don't think we did a ton of metadata because I think that was we did some. So metadata includes things like genre, instruments, lyrical themes, moods, tempos, vocals. It also usually includes writer info. The only reason I didn't put it here was because this specific publisher, we had a separate split sheet in agreement for that stuff. So it's not here because they kind of handled all that on a separate agreement. But ideally, you would want that information here so that all the writers involved in your tracks, especially if you have co-writers and things like that. There's a space for lyrics, so you want to make sure you include lyrics if you have full songs. This could be really, really helpful. And then things like your BPM, genre, again, artist name, title, not that Beat 107 today's date version 5 final stuff. And then, yeah, notes, I really don't put anything in there. But this pretty much covers that in terms of metadata. Now, let's dig into how we kind of organize this when we're trying to present it, and the formats that we want to present it in, which kind of ties into number 4, which is export formats. Now, again, when you're sending these deliverables, it will vary according to the publisher, because each publisher likes to receive music a certain way. So you don't have to have all of that figured out up front. They will let you know how they want to receive music once they decide to move forward with you. However, in the beginning, when you're pitching at first, I always like to start with the WAV file. And then they can always request different files. Like if they request an AIFF file or something, or, you know, for whatever reason, they only want an MP3, they'll let you know. But I like to start with like a WAV that gets the job done. So here we have the main song here. But the cool thing about Disco is it allows you to organize it and break it down into different versions. So as you can see here, I have my instrumental version, I have an acapella version, and then I can also nest the stems for this track. So this publisher wanted stems from the track. So we have like a sound effect stem. So it was like a bunch of hits and risers and things like that. So we put that on a stem. We have our synths. So we put all the synth leads, synth pads, all that stuff, plucks on a synth stem. We got some Brahms, a drum and bass stem, and then brass and strings. So as you can see here, a lot of times we're kind of grouping sounds together. It's not necessarily always like individual stems. Again, unless the publisher says, give us individual stems, we usually just kind of group things. So, you know, put all the drums together, or drum and bass, put all the synths together, put all the strings together, maybe brass and strings. Just depends on what's going on. They kind of give us the discretion to kind of group things that make sense. And then if they want anything specific, again, they let us know, and then we just kind of rock with that. So this keeps everything clean and organized. So then when we share the track with a publisher, let's see if we can get an example here. So when we share it, this is what they would see on the receiving end. So they have the main track, so they can play that. And then listen to it. And then from there, they can decide, okay, let's grab this instrumental. They can download it if they need it. Oh, here's an acapella as well. Oh, let's see what stems they have. And then boom, you have that all nested, and we have the lyrics there. So it just makes things super dope. And it also will automatically give them the option to download an MP3. So if you start with uploading a WAV file in Disco specifically, it'll automatically convert it to MP3 if they want an MP3. And then they can also kind of download all the versions, or they can just download the WAV files, which works as well. So I always like to start with WAV, and then it gives them that option. Just makes life super duper easy. So if you want a shortcut for all of this, just grab my free Sync Producer Quick Start Guide. Just comment the word free guide in the comments, or you can hit the link in the description. That'll kind of walk you through the process of like how to get to this point to where you're even submitting music, who to submit it to, and kind of how to prepare it. And like the things that I kind of covered here will be in that guide as well. So this is how you kind of prepare your music and package your music before you pitch it. You don't want to just send a blind email with some random attachment and like no subject in the email and just expect somebody to open that, listen to it, and say, hey, we want to sync your music. It just doesn't work that way. You have to be prepared, and you have to package your music in a way that's professional and that shows, hey, I'm serious about getting my music placed in TV and film. I understand how you all like to receive music. Let's get this music to work, right? So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, you're going to love what's inside the Sync Producer Hub. In my next video, I'll take you behind the scenes so you can see exactly what's included.